All right, I'm live. I'm rolling. I'm rolling.
It's rolling. It's rolling.
I'm rolling. That's my favorite thing to do now. But yeah, I didn't show this last time long enough. You gonna turn that down some? Like all cutting on all through my feet. Yeah, but yeah, this like a little piece I got. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the title. Peace. I mean, come in if you want this smoke, or come in if you want a lesson. Quotes from they said, you're not going through a physical experience. You're going through a mental experience that feels real. Your state of being comes from your mental state of being. Life is a download. You can teach someone the knowledge, but you can't make them think. Understand that patience is when you understand another person's point of view. You know the truth because the truth is laid within your DNA. You must live between the tropics of Capricorn and Cancer to receive adequate amounts of sunlight and UVB radiation for your body to produce steroid hormone G, which will build your bones, which will produce blood, which will also carry out the oxygen throughout the body that's needed for you to ascend. Steroid hormone D is responsible for providing mutated cells with your necessary instructions to repair their DNA or to self-destruct. Peace for everybody coming in. If you don't know who I am already, it is the Royal Minister, Prince Mohamed of the Camara family, of SouSou Conakry, of Tombo Island, of the people of the SouSou Kingdom, of the Getza Dynasty. I give thanks. We give thanks. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for tuning in. This will be a lesson in consumer law versus universal law. So right now I'm starting off with universal law. We're going to tap into and get an understanding because it seems to be like a lot of confusion. If you're tapping into the news and you see the wars going on right now, this is the reason why the wars are going on right now. Let the people who are dying in the name of war die in peace in the name of war. This people gonna clickbait this and use this. I don't care. Let them die in peace in the name of war, because what we have and what we're seeing is the truth. The truth is that the people who are involved with these wars are in fact imposters. We're dealing with infiltrators of the human race or human species. This is the only reason why nature can allow for an elimination of a race or an elimination of a people. So this goes back right into the sciences. You have to understand there's been no apparent enemy. It's only been an inner me. It's been the gene that's been created and manipulated that's caused the destruction and the distraction. So it's you, yourself. We have became Satan to overcome Satan. We're traveling at an all-time speed, only taking what we need. True intelligence is measured by your mind and your capacity to receive. Alright, I'm going to go into a specific art form. Last time I went into biology. This time let's go into... Maybe you'll let me know. Here we go. Through the principle of correspondence, which is as above, so below, as within, so without, we are able to see how astrology is represented. Of course, disclaimer, all words being used are English words. English is a subliminal, subprimal language which speaks to the primal instincts and natures of the brain, also known as the monkey brain. So within this language is made up of prefixes and suffixes. Keep in mind to be breaking the words down as you speak. This is how you enter, and understand what is being said. So again, astrology is represented by the law of correspondence, which the law of correspondence is one of the 7 universal laws. Your astrological programming is the projection of your holographic universe. Right now, you're projecting yourself into this world. Who are you? That's what I said. Mention you and who are you? Who really are you? I'm gonna build up and then I'm gonna finish this up on law. Cause who else is doing this? Who are you? Where are you? Where'd you come from? How'd you get here? Holographic. Right now, you're not seeing me. Right now, you're receiving me. You're receiving this energy. You're receiving my vibration, and then through your eyes, you're computing. Through the brain, you're processing. If it wasn't for your optical nerve right now that's connected to your brain, that optical nerve functioning, you would not even be perceiving this reality. And if you are not seeing it, then it does not exist. So that poses the question, if a blind person can't see the reality, do they live in the same world that we live in? See, you got to break it down like this, because here's the thing. Many people here, although we're on the same planets, we live in different worlds. They're going to have to give me something else. What world do you live in? Did you even realize that there were different worlds within the same planet? Let me ask, why would there need to be different worlds and there's one planet? Let me ask this. Why would there be different states, but there's one country? Isn't it united? Ah, shit. We're going there. Don't do it to him like that. All right, excuse me. I don't know why I get so serious. You know, it's like off this camera. You know, we're all so ourselves. But when this third perspective comes forward, it changes the frequency. It changes the scope. Hold on, yo. I don't know why they're not giving me no. All right, like I was saying, if you consider what you have been given coming into this world, then you will realize why we have different worlds. If you consider the fact that throughout time, the only thing that has stayed consistent are those who are apparently in power and control. So this is what we have going on. Whether we go back 4,000 years ago or 6,000 years ago, the first documented civilization was 4,000 years ago. So if you want to understand the history, the power behind the land, this is where we have to start. Where it was 4,000 years ago. It was a very advanced civilization. Most of you know the civilization known as the Sumerians. This was also dated in the book of Genesis, where they translated from Sumerian tablets or scripts, right, that were uncovered not just too long ago, in fact. And they were discovered in specific areas of the Tigris and Euphrates in the Middle East. This is why they're going to war right now. It's because these ancient scrolls, these scripts that were recorded on baked and clay tablets that date back to the beginnings of civilizations, of the histories and the education, the mathematics and the science, and the organizations and the socially advancement of the civilizations, that information is being uncovered. The origin, the source. So now we don't have to continue arguing about what the truth is. You can look at the scrolls. Grateful. So before we get into the scrolls, let's go into the history. That was 4000 BC. You got 2123 BC for where the Abrahamic religions came to existence. And it came into existence through the Greeks. The Greeks are the individuals, entities who are the Roman in disguise. That's why the Roman, they worship their entities in disguise, because the Greeks are the Romans in disguise. And the Greeks were the first to understand the ancient Kemetic, the ancient hieroglyphic language, the ancient hieroglyphic science and mathematics behind how to build the temples, how to build the ruins and such that they have. And this is why you see that the Greeks or the Roman structure style buildings are the ones that are still standing around, because their science and their mathematics came from that of the Kemites, which I'm going to go into that history later. But here's what's relevant, because this is why we are here. Abraham, the godfather, the grandfather of the Israelites, was originally from the ancient city of Nippur. He moved to Ur. Abraham was then told to move to Haran under supreme guidance, and finally to Canaan, where the promised land was to become his children's inheritance. Who's Abraham? In 2023 BC, Isaac, the son of Abraham, was born. In 2000 BC, Babylon flourished in the land of summer. Babylon had a modern system of life with canals. They had canals to irrigate their land for agriculture, indoor toilets, city sewage systems, and public restrooms. They had a city-to-city postal system with baked clay letters and envelopes. Further, Babylon had a judicial system where judges wore black robes, just as they do today. Then, because of their idols in Babylon of gold and silver, they began to fall into disgrace. You disgraceful motherfuckers. You ones who are here chasing these Federal Reserve notes. Yeah, viewer discretion is advised. The show's now starting. That was just the warm-up, what you saw before. Ah, shit. They gave me the flame, but they gave me no spark. So pyro it. Watch this. Here we go. This will happen because of their idols that fell in disgrace and continue to fall, but continue to rule at the same time through fiction until they were destroyed. They had a system of commerce that included coin, money, receipts, titles, seals, signing, and merchant law, which later evolved into Roman law, then into civil law, and now is maritime law. In 1963 BC, Jacob was born, the son of Isaac. Or Israel is born through Jacob. In 1890, Joseph, Jacob's son, he was sold into slavery to Egypt. Why was Joseph's son sold into slavery in Egypt if Egypt had no significance when it came to our history? See, this is what's missing. You know, most of you look and see this crown and think a king, but that's because you have no respect for the pharaohs that came before these kings, right? Or you have no understanding, therefore you have no respect. So here's what happened. Here's the truth. And it has to be said like this so that when you go and educate people and you go and share this information, you let them know, hey, you don't know. You have no understanding of history. Because if you received a public education, then you don't have a private information. If you received a public education, you don't have private information. So let me fast forward. What happened in 1700s? What happened in the 1800s? What happened in the 1900s? We all know what happened in 1933. I talked about that last time. All the money was usurped from the people. Everything that was backed by gold and silver, it was taken off that ledger, that account, and put into a full faith and credit. But why did they have to do that? We here fighting a war that has nothing to do with ourselves. Stuck basically trying to figure out why it is that we are the people, but yet we have no rights. That's because if you don't claim your rights, then you, the people, are a person. 8 USC 1401, not only are you a person, you are a national to that person. National meaning natural. But you must make the claim. You must have your affidavit of truth. This is the first creed you must make on the record. Otherwise, you're bound to be bound by... And hold up, as I'm going in, share this live. What the fuck is going on? Everybody should be hearing this shit. You got motherfuckers sleep. I gotta get mad or something. That's what they want? Oh, that's what they want. Man, y'all people are asleep. In 1694, the private bank of England, which is Babylon, which was in Yorktown. So if you from New York, just know you ain't shit. So if you claim that you from New York and you ain't claiming your tribe, you ain't shit. Matter of fact, if you claim that you American, you ain't shit. United States of America is a corporation, and your ass work for this corporation that's enslaving children, kidnapping children, doing rituals and spells for people who claim to be of the Most High. The Pope is who I'm talking about. These entities doing witchcraft and Masonic, and y'all claiming to be Americans and connected to this bloodline. So how can this be? How can you be American when this is just 400 years ago? In 1688, William of Orange of the Netherlands overthrew the Stuart kings and took possession of the English throne in 1688. How could it be 400 years of slavery? How could you be born into slavery as a black person? How could you be a nigga if only 400 years ago England was taken over by William the Orange of the Netherlands? So after that, 50 years later, they lost. They were exhausted of war from going to war with France, and the people who were in French were German. And the Hollands, which was also Germany. This is why they formed the bank. They formed the bank because they were bankrupt. They were exhausted monetarily. So they formed it and secured themselves with their politicians and their laws to protect their bank and their debt that they owed. So they created a tally stick system and replaced it with their own money system. And then they took away the power of the King William of Orange that had overthrown them. If you want to take away a king's power, you change his money supply. You change the money system, the monetary policy. Here you go. So 1694, 98, this wasn't our debt. They had 1.2 million £5 to 16 million pounds of debt in 1698. These British. Then you had the fucking Rothschilds. You don't know who the Rothschilds are. The Rothschilds is the Boyer family. So anybody who's familiar with Bayern Munich in Germany, and who's familiar with Amschel and Amschel Boyer in Germany, that is the Rothschild family. Let's go into it. They opened their first goldsmith shop under the name of Red Shield. In German, in German tongue, that's pronounced Rothschild or Rothschild. So y'all saying Rothschild really is meaning red shield or red cross. Red fucking cross. You mean like the cross that Jesus died on? You mean like the crucifix? Oh, that's a red cross. That's a crucifix. So the whole time they're telling you this story about a man who got crucified, and you believing in this imagery, the best story ever told. But at the same time, they're hiding the truth about how they took over your land from your ancestors. Yet you are worshiping not only them, you're worshiping their dead ancestors who created the story. So now you are actually practicing witchcraft. You are a Mason. You are a witch. You're already doing magic. So now if you think that you're doing magic by doing some form of what's called magic, which is in true form science, then you are still underneath a spell. Because the only true form of magic is to uncover that which is the illusion. Because magic has to do with illusions. So therefore, the only true form of magic is to uncover the illusions. Let's go into the illusions. America, by the Declaration of Independence, declared war on England. I don't know how many of you knew this, but this is what happened. The war was not just the Europeans whites versus the Europeans whites in the UK. It was, you had poor blacks, indentured servants fighting along with poor whites, Europeans farmers. The Confederate flag is actually, in fact, and look this up, it is the Cherokee flag. The Confederate flag, you ignorant rednecks, is actually the Cherokee, which is actually pronounced Cherokee flag. There's nothing new underneath the sun, and that flag symbolizes universal law, and it actually symbolizes the law of correspondence, which we started off with in this video. So through that declaration, they declared war. However, most of the people did not realize that the primary reason for the war was not taxation without representation, but instead it was the forced payment of taxes to the king in gold, not money. America was flourishing by using their own fiat money system based only in their production, not a gold-based system that could be manipulated by a king. The king could not control the fiat money system, and therefore he passed a law requiring everyone to pay taxes in gold only. So since the king had most of the gold, the colonies had little, the unemployment increased, and that is why they cried out for war. Now, America didn't win the Revolutionary War, if you were taught that they did. there was a malfunction with their plans. Money powers were waiting at the gate from the beginning. America has been lying to you since the day you were born. If you got a public education, you have not received this private information. So more than likely, you're going into a corporation thinking that you need a job. You're going into a corporation thinking that you actually have to pay taxes. You're paying bills. You're participating in something that you aren't aware of, because again, just like I broke down, the Confederate flag is the Cherokee flag. Where does the American flag come from? And that's a trick question. It's a trick question. Where does the American flag come from? Everybody you're supporting, you're standing on this Constitution, you're standing on this flag, and you're moving in honor, meaning you're paying your bills, and you're living your life in accordance to this flag, to this Constitution. So where does this flag come from? What does it represent? Let's get into it. The flag, in fact, is not a flag. That's a banner. The United States is not a flag. The United States is a banner. I'm gonna look this stuff up because I know y'all just sitting there, y'all not looking it up. But United States is a banner. Is the American flag a banner? American flags typically feature a header and grommets that attach horizontally to a vertically flagpole, while an American flag banner is usually intended to hang vertically on a horizontal pole. So and that's why I call it the Star Spangled Banner. So it's a banner because that flag or that banner is representing, again, the Constitution. I already said the answer in the question. The Constitution, that being the original agreement, Constitution, that being the original contract that was made between that herein of the people that were on the lands. That's what the Constitution is. So we go into the Bill of Rights, which is just simple things. We were taught this in history, but now you have to use what you learned. You just got caught into a wave of bullshit and distraction, and you've forgotten, who you are. You've forgotten your own programming. You've forgotten your own nature. The Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments of the Constitution. It states in full. And this is what you can utilize when you have to understand when you make the claims that these are instructions that you're sending to people who are in your county, people who are in your state. So now that means you're making an adversarial claim. You're identifying the space that you're operating in. So now you want to speak in a manner that's going to have you respected, understood. That's jurisdiction, is creating understanding. The First Amendment states Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. This is why the church is the highest power. This is why the church is the highest power, because it's the church that is creating these laws, because it is the laws that create the church. The universal laws create the church. This is why the book of Jesus, which is Yahshua Ben Hasiwa, or how do you say it? I'm thinking of Yahweh, but I'm not talking about Yahweh. Yamasai, Jesus. This is why they use that book, because that book is actually the book of the law. Whenever we talk about that name, we're talking about the entity of Christ. An entity has to do with a spirit or an energy. So now the spirit of Christ is the mind of Christ. So now when they're using this book, it's not about a man, but it's about a mind. Man represents mind. And whenever they're talking about Eve or the woman, they're talking about the emotion. So now understand that this is your Bill of Rights. This is your Bill of Rights. What is a bill? This is welcome to Freemason class. Bill definition. This is your Bill of Rights. Understand the words that you're reading so that you can quantum leap in your reality. Stop watching all these videos, spending all this time figuring it out when there's 7 universal laws. Then you're governed by 12 principles. Those principles are also known as planets. Those planets can be found in your psychology. So we're going to stay on the P's. So that's the principle. So you have to respect the principles. So principles will be the rules or the rulers or the measurements. That's what psychology is. That's what subconscious is repetitiveness, is measurements of experiences. So you must master yourself through mastering not just these laws that people talk about. You got to tap into your psychology, or else you're going to keep manifesting the same scenarios. It doesn't matter what you know, what you pick up. If you still are not able to overcome your own demons, aka your own shadows, because at the end of the day, you is a light being. A light being meaning you have optical nerves that connect your eyeballs, your pupils to your brain, and then when you hear information, there's waves that's sent in your ears that's electric, and then even when you see right now, there's electric waves being sent to your brain. So that's called a projection, because that's electric. So that's why you have a central nervous system, right, that has to do with what's electrodes, electrons, electricity. The astrological program is the specific possibility or expression of the all that you are. You're naturally designed to fit into 3 worlds. Babylon, which is the conscious, the mind, which is the subconscious, and the digital, which is the unconscious. And digital is unconscious because it's not truly real. Your astrological program is the residual of your past self. You don't know who you are if you don't know your astrology. You are made up of 23 chromosomes of your mother, 23 chromosomes of your father. So that's genes. That's your genes, your genetics. That's your code. You know, so if you got makeup on, then how can you read your genetic makeup? You don't know who you are because your makeup is covering the genetic makeup and structure that you are. So these codes won't make sense because your genetic code still has structure and figuring out to do. So understand that astrology is the key to knowing thyself and overcoming generational curses and soul ties. Your astrological program is the aspects and the houses in your birth. Here you are. Your birth chart. This is what makes you different from your general descriptions of your reality. There is no ego that you need to get rid of. Your ego is your own sense of identity or your conscious mind. Also, there is no free will. We have to get this, let's knock this devil out the way. There's no free will. Everything is genetic code. Everything is astrological programming. Your reality is already written. It's already scripted. You already did this. It is predestined. That's what this is why everything is prepaid. Y'all already knew I was going there. Different frequencies or egos actually give meaning to the meaningless of life. That's the frequencies or the rates at which things or your mind vibrates or operate around. That's your frequency. This is what gives meaning to life. When we all get on the same frequency, that's when we have achieved purpose. Because then there will be no meaning to life. Which we're not going to get into the Gnostic texts and what they say in regards to the meaning of life. So here we back are to the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion. What is that? Religion, Christ, Christianity, which Christ is again the mind, and Jesus is the Son, and the Son is the soul, and the soul is your mind. And this is why the first universal law is all is mental. So when you create your own religious establishment or organization or a 508c1a, you have all the rights to act. You have all the rights enacted. Here you go. The Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia being necessary to security of a free state, the rights of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So that's what's coming next. Also, I want to mention this. Class 2 is ready. Make sure you get into Class 2. If you missed the last class, you don't want to miss this one. Last class, we went into the private emails and showed you the exact conversation that happened between the landlord and the supposed tenant. So for anybody who has questions about what happened in the videos that now have done well over 100,000, make sure you get in the class, or you can go back and watch the last live videos where I actually went over what happened in those videos. So again, the next class is going to be very plain and simple. We're going to tap into the science of getting rich, because this is the end goal of sovereignty. You understand what sovereignty means? Most people speak about sovereignty, but actually have not ascertained it in its whole sum. Even if you speak on equity, you have not ascertained sovereignty. What is the root word and the suffix for sovereignty? Sov. Let's look it up, y'all. Sovereign etymology. What do we see? Sovereign. Middle English from Old French, sovereign. Based on Latin super or above. It says possessing royal power and status. To be sovereign is to be possessing royal power and status. So when I say the royal minister and I say the private wealth club, this is the start of the exodus of Babylon. Social media is an extension of television. Now television is in your hand. The program is now in your hand. And you are still in school, except for now you go to school on your own time. And again, the school is in your hand. So everything that you're paying attention to, that's it. You're paying attention. That's commerce. Commerce is interstate trade. Commerce is also trade of any kind. Commerce is also the exchange. Commerce is also the acceptance. Commerce is also intercourse. So that is the exchange that's being made right now. All is mental. First universal law. That's why they call Jesus the Son, because that Son is the soul. The soul is the mind. So that's the first law. All is mental. So right now that you are worshiping or paid attention to or connected to some false image of the actual Son. So this is why you are not or don't tune into the Son, whether that be the Son that's in the actual plane or planet, or the Son that's within you. Your Christ conscious is not activated. So you may look here and see a crown and not recognize it's because you're not recognizing yourself. When you look in the mirror, you don't know who you are. There's no me that you're seeing. You're making me up, because every time you click off this screen, then you don't hear me. There is no me. You don't see me. There's no image of me. There's no reality of us building at all. So it's you that you don't understand. It's not me. So if something is coming off here that's not clear, it's not. So I'm showing you, right, as a reflection, or as I should say, a projection of you, of your own mind, what is possible, what is real. No, literally, what is real. Sovereignty, etymologically speaking, say the word right, is a supreme ruler, especially a monarch. What do you need to rule? What do you need to be sovereign? If you claim equity, if you claim to be a citizen, if you claim to be a consumer, whatever you claim to be, if you claim to be spiritual, you're claiming to be sovereign. But if you're not possessing royal power, if you're not enacting and acting in your royal power, then are you truly sovereign? Are you truly spiritual? Are you truly conscious? Are you truly a citizen or a good Samaritan? Or are you just a ghost, a G host? See, you could be vibrationally dead. That's why we had to go into astrology in the beginning of this live. You can be scientifically pronounced vibrationally dead. So what that means is you're receiving signals on the inside. You're picking up vibration, and you're receiving those signals, and you're not holding on to those signals. You're not following those notes. Therefore, you're out of tune. Therefore, you're vibrationally dead. You are the walking dead. So this must be why you're going to work. I mean, even me, I have people in my family that still go to work. And every time I see them when I go to a function, best believe I'm wearing my nice jackets. I'm wearing my nice suits. I'm wearing my crown. And I'm not letting their world come into my world of the understanding of the world that we're in. Don't let anybody who doesn't understand the world that we're in tell you what the fuck is going on. Because again, if you received a public education, you don't have private information. So again, this is the royal minister, Prince Mohamed of the Camara family of Guinea Conakry of Tombo Island. So this is genetically within me as you hear this sound, this frequency. Because I am you. And if you still have not understood that, then now what this means is you are thinking that you are the body. You think you're the body. You think you're the body. You think you're this being. Rather than the thing that is thinking, that is somewhere in or near the being, that is actually moving the body. The being is moving the body. This is why the body at birth is pronounced dead. Therefore, that dead being can be controlled, own nothing, control everything. So this is the Matrix. I mean, everybody has seen the movie. You've seen the movie The Matrix, yet you still walk around here like you're Mr. Anderson. Whoa. We've all seen The Matrix. Some of you have even seen all three of The Matrixes. But yet you're still walking around like you're Mr. Anderson. Do you understand the concept, the movie of The Matrix, what was going on behind The Matrix? You understand Mr. Anderson, how he was working in a cubicle at 9 to 5? Before we even go into the details, The Matrix is a widely talked about movies with many different theories and even conspiracies on the movie. Now, is this a conspiracy or is this a reality? Why was the original Matrix movie stolen from a black woman named Sophia Stewart? Why was the original Matrix movie stolen, even though the Matrix movie now is still popping and hot? Why was it stolen and diluted into that? All right. So the Matrix. Mr. Anderson working in a cubicle, which is the magic square or the cube that you see them walking around in Mecca, which the cube is correlated to the rings, or Metatron's cube, which Metatron is correlated to Saturn's ring, Saturnalia. So every time they're walking around, they're making rings, just like Saturn does, and Saturn is correlated to Chronos, or time. So this is why Mr. Anderson in the Matrix, he's in a cube. This is time, that a Chronos that's being shown to you, because listen, this is going to get deep, because this is the Matrix that you're in. It's called the Saturn Moon Matrix. And you've never heard the Matrix in this perspective, this way, ever before. This is the Matrix, and Matrix, that etymology of Matrix is Maatrix, which actually comes from matter, or Maater, or Mayat, or also mother. And specifically, it's the womb of the beast. That's why we say, oh, I'm going into the Matrix. It's the womb of the beast. So Mr. Anderson first has to break out of the Matrix. But when you first break out of the Matrix and learn that you're underneath a spell, you have 3 8s a day. 3 8s a day. That's 24 hours. You sleep for 8 of those hours. You got 2 8s a day. That's 16 hours. This it goes deep. It goes deep, because that's the 7. And that's what they control, the 7, the L. Love, live life. But 16 hours. So what are you doing in those 16 hours? If you have a job, you work 6 hours, 8 hours, that's 8 hours. You travel to that job, 1 hour, 2 hours, you eat, you take care of yourself. You have 6 to 8 hours every day if you are working. That's if you're just working normally. So my friend, my family, you are my reflections. You are not living. You are not alive. If you have 3 8s, 24 hours, and you sleep 8, that's 16, and you work 8, that's 16, you have 8 left. This is without eating. This is without getting ready to work. This is without traveling to work. This is about taking care of family or friends that you may have to take care of. Which if you do, then you may have 6 to 8. If even you have 4 to 8 hours a day to your actual being. The whole rest of the time, you're just on auto. You're just going. You're not thinking while you sleep. You're not thinking while you're working. You're not thinking while... So you're not living. You're not alive. This is why the estate is claimed dead. So yeah, it is wise to slow the work down. I'm even going to advise to stop the work, because back where you come from, it says that knowledge is power. So if you really want to be powerful, which I don't understand why you wouldn't want to be powerful unless you just like being in a subservient state. If you want to be powerful, then you would sit back and gain knowledge. Heed these words, or pay the prices of the principles. Pay the prices of the principles if you do not heed the words of the principalities. And the principalities are 7. 7 principles of 7 hermetic principles. Also, the principle is the estate. The principle is the dead entity. The principle is the accounts. So you must move on behalf of the principal's account. 12 USC 1431. It says that the principal is due interest. This is what the bank rules and procedures states, that the principal is due interest. And that in regards to a principal and in regards to a bill, the only way to pay a bill is with interest. But then again, in 12 USC 1431, within rules and regulations of the banks, it says that banks pay interest. Well, I'll be lit. Well, I'll be damned. Well, I will not be damned. But I'll build a dam in these commercial waters for sure and get some electricity generating going, some of that current, some of that currency, some of that credit, and leverage it to get a new space, a new loft right here in the heart of Brooklyn. This is under 30 days working with a partner, a credit partner. Joined the private wealth club and immediately got funded. Joined the private wealth club. Yo, we gotta do a testimony. Yo, I'm about to hop off this live and get back on and do a testimony right now. I'm gonna just wrap this up. 12 USC 1431. Interest of the bank. Sovereign. You already know this. Y'all come back to the next live. I'm doing the testimony.